Hello everyone, welcome back to Friday Night Top Decks, the Friday Night Magic pregame show here for Top Deck Productions GameSwap Mason. My name is Jake Valentine, joined again by Zach Harris.
How's it going, guys?
How's your week been, Zach?
It's been okay. I'm in college right now, so I got 2 exams this past week.
Little dusty playmat.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little rough of a week, but you know, all things were great. Got to watch the SCG. Watched all of that. That was real fun.
It was. I didn't get to watch it because I moved.
Oh,
on
that's
Saturday,
unfortunate.
So I watched updates on my phone. Then we had no internet till yesterday, so I watched more updates on my phone. It was a pretty interesting SCG for sure, though.
Oh yeah.
To very shortly. So today we're going to talk about SCG Dallas, as well as the Magic Online PPTQ that took place last weekend. We're going to talk about the importance of tuning your deck to the tournament you're going to, whether it's a local event like the Weeknight Magic you see here on Top Deck Productions, or a competitive REL event like a Star City or Grand Prix. We're going to find out why the heck John won the Modern Classic.
I have some theories.
I don't know.
I understand. I understand.
And we're going to discuss a little bit about what's going on with the World Championships, as well as make some predictions for FNM this week. But first, Star City Dallas took place this past weekend.
Yeah.
And it turns out the Hostage Taker is a really, really good Magic card.
Oh yes, it's a very good card. Many people are saying it's the best card of the set.
I don't know about that. My qualms is that it's a 2/3, and, you know.
Yeah.
It still does a lot of things.
It dies to Lightning Strike, dies to no energy off, High Lightning, dies to Raid.
I have it up on my phone. Here's your top. Let's just do the top 16. And first we got Sultai Energy, Ramanap Red, Sultai Energy. 4th and 5th Revolt Blue-White Approach. 6th and 7th Revolt 4-color Energy. 8th Esper Godfarrow's Gift. Then Tima Energy, Grixis Control, Ramanap Red, 4-color Energy, traditional Black-Green Energy, so no Sultai.
Right, yeah.
Then Sultai Energy, and then 2 Ramanap Red decks to top out the top 16. It's a pretty varied on the surface with lots of deck names, but I mean at its heart you have control, whether it's blue white or Grixis. You had your energy decks, whether it's black green, Sultai, or Teamer, and you had your aggressive Ramanap deck with an occasional deck in there.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion on first week of Ixalan Standard?
First week, I think the first week really showed the power of the approach deck, and the power of that alternate win con, and the power of that new 4-mana instant. I think why the Sultai decks did so well is because Duress is on the sideboard, and Duress plus Negate allows that deck to actually interact more with the approach deck. So I think that's why Sultai was kind of like the sleeper for the event, and that's why it did so well. Ramanap Red is always a good deck. It's always going to be up there. I don't know about the Grixis control decks or all those other control decks, but
one was played by Scott McNamara, also known as Oath McNamara on Magic Online, who, when I believe it was when Our Devastation came out, was really tuning that blue-red control deck.
Oh,
so
right,
not surprised to see him do well with a blue-based control deck.
Yeah, if the person's known for it.
Yeah, I know people are talking about playing Grixis because you have Dragon Skull, and John Catacombs to help the dynamics even better. You still have Nicole Bolas in a card like Our Devastation.
Right.
You get the rest, you get Spell Pierce, so you have the tools there. But it turns out playing a card that says you win the game is really good.
Oh yeah, playing that Approach to the Second Sun, that card is insane. I mean, when I was looking at the lists, I was familiar. It's like, man, what are they running, like 1 or 2? No, they're running to 3. They really want to see that. So many times in testing this past week, I was playing, because I put together Sultai, and I don't have all the hostage takers and whatnot like that yet, but I was playing versus my friend, and I like duress his hand on him to see, like, he's at 6 mana and he's got 2 approaches in his hand. I'm like, what do I do?
Not to mention they're running so many cards that say the word draw a card. They're running Opt. They're running Censor. They're running Supreme Will. They're running Cast Out, which again, cycle draws a card for 1. Glitter Genius, which is strike 2, draw 2. In some cases, you can argue that search for Escanta. I can never. I'm not going to say Atlassian because of the Atlassian League, but search for Escanta. Technically, it doesn't say draw a card. Yeah. It doesn't say scry, but that's what you're doing. You're scrying, and then eventually you're impulsing. There are so many ways to draw through your deck.
I think what makes the deck so powerful is when you get to turn 4, what do?
Exactly.
You attack with all your creatures. Oh, they're all exiled. You attack with 1 creature. Okay, next turn, Fumigate. Okay, you don't attack with anything for some reason. They just glimmer. It's like they have an answer and a good thing to do, or Cast Out even on 4 too. There's so many differing things that they can do on turn 4 that you can't really play around them all.
You just have to make them have it, which is why I think Teamer might be a better choice because I remember playing it on Friday night, and I won. Rich, I want you to guess the card that won me that game.
I'm gonna say negate.
The only game I won was pre-board.
Pre-board?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
It was Roller Virtuoso.
Oh yeah, that would help. That's a lot of creatures.
Yeah, I landed a Virtuoso with at least 12 energy, and I didn't have to do anything but make Thopters, draw cards, make him answer all the stuff I'm playing, and then deploy threats. I know that I want to try Champion of Wills or Wits or what the hell.
Champion of Wits.
Champion of Wits, yeah. I want to try that again just because it draws me cards. I can get rid of bad cards game 1. I can bring 2 more in from the board. I can embalm, therefore gain card advantage by not playing something from my hand. And obviously it's just really good at fixing my mana base. I'm going 4 color now. Another thing I like is
I think that's the better version.
Hostage taker my own Rogue Refiner.
That's great because either way you get it back.
Yeah, either they counter it and nothing happens because they're not playing any creatures, or they don't counter it and by the time they kill it, I got to draw a card again.
Yeah.
The one drawback obviously to playing Teamer or just quote-unquote 4-color Vassalta is you don't have Duresses as well.
Right,
but
yeah.
I feel like the control decks, whether it's blue-white or blue-black or Grixis or blue-red, they'll eventually adapt to that.
Yeah. I even remember the updated list for the one guy who won it or whatever said that he was even cutting a Duress. He had 4 on the sideboard and he was going down to 3.
Andrew Jessup is the person who wants up the energy. He cut a Duress, 4 in a gate, to be fair.
Right, yeah.
But still, I mean, the 4-color decks are running 6 counterspells main board. People at Worlds are playing... Huey Jensen's playing Supreme Will main board, I believe it was. He's playing Glimmer Genius and Gearhulk, so clearly, I mean, Teamer is such a toolbox that you can play
do everything
throughout season and just fine tune it depending on the week. I want to move on to before moving on to Modern and figure out what the heck happened in this class. 15 different archetypes in the top 16.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I will say that I feel like people forgot how good Red is against Hostage Taker.
Yeah.
Void Ring can kill it.
Lightning Strike kills it.
Lightning Strike can kill it. Lightning Strike can also go to the face against the white decks. I won't be surprised to see if things flip back and forth between Teamer and Solid depending on what people are gunning for.
Yeah.
Similar to how, in Modern it ebbs and flows based on what people are expecting.
Yeah.
If there's
a bunch of different decks that go back
Affinity's
and
not
forth.
on anyone's radar, then Affinity does well, and then once it's back in everyone's minds,
it goes to, yeah.
Speaking of Modern, here are your top 16 decks. Are you ready for this? We have Jund, Eldrazi-tron, Bant Spirits, Eldrazi-tron, Red White Prism, which is the Sun and Moon deck.
Yeah,
Burn, Gift Storm, Elves, Titan Shift, Skred, Jeskai Delver, 8-Rack, Drix's Shadow, Elves, Blue Red Breach, and Death and Taxes. That's your 16. Top 16. So I'm sorry, 14 archetypes, not 15, but still 14 out of the 16 decks. And top 16 are unique.
Yeah.
One by Jund, which beat Eldrazi-tron of all things. How did this happen?
So there's a common if you look at the entire top 32, there's something in common with most of the decks. You see, I believe I said
They're all fair.
Right, every deck is fair.
It's becoming more and more fair.
Like, Elves is a combo deck, but it's fair. You kill all the individual creatures, you could block a couple things. I didn't see a single ad nauseum. There's one Storm deck, in the top 32. And Jund has a difficulty dealing with, like, infinite combo decks or things that play with non-creature spells that are, like, harder to interact with, or control decks. You didn't see any control decks besides maybe, I think it was 1 or 2 Jeskais in the top 32.
You didn't see Affinity or any Dredge type deck.
Yeah. So Jund just had a heyday being one of the best fair decks in the format. That's just almost... It's really hard to grind.
It surprises me to see one Storm deck. And Caleb Shearer, who, to be fair, is really good at Storm.
Yeah.
You can play it in the sleep. Showed, hey, these Scalding Tarns that cost like half the price of the deck, you don't need them. So clearly there's a top-tier deck.
Yeah.
In my opinion, one of the top 5 decks in the format that is very accessible monetary-wise.
Yeah, I played that deck for a little bit. I didn't have Tarns, and it hardly affected how I played the deck.
You bought them in cards that you want to draw again. So why are you fetching?
Most of the time, even in most blue-centered control decks, you can skimp on Tarns if you're that, because you just need a blue fetch. You need to be able to cast your Cryptics and stuff like that. Now, I know Storm doesn't have Cryptics, obviously, but they need their blue source on turn 1. So all your fetches, all they need is to be able to fetch a basic island, and because any island can anything that can fetch a basic island can fetch a steam vents. And how often do you care about fetching a mountain?
Almost every land in that deck is making blue. Is that
Right,
what, like
yeah.
2 mountains?
1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe, to be fair, it's a classic, not an open. The best players were still playing in the standard open. I'm sure some people, Zach Elsick was playing in the standard classic that he won with his improvised deck. I'm sure plenty of people just wanted to play standard because it's week 1, but still, it's a really weird modern tournament. It shows how diverse modern is.
There's even a Scred in there. Something about Scred. Dallas last year. Scred won it.
Texas loves
Scred. Yeah.
It is a Grand Prix winning deck. We can't knock it.
No. I'm not saying it's a bad deck. I love the deck.
So this seems like a perfectly leading about tuning your deck to the tournament. Obviously, Modern's a wide open format, so I don't know how you tune your deck for Modern right now. But for Standard, I remember week 1 people saying, hey, there's going to be Teamer, and it's week 1, in a place where people love to play red, there's going to be red. So let's talk about how important it is to tune your deck, not only there, but in a local level too, because here we had only people from FNM wanted to play draft.
Yeah.
The decks where it was 3 4-color energy decks. There were 2 blue-white approach decks. There was 1 Remnant red deck. Then there was cats, and there was not Sultai energy, just Sultai stuff.
Yeah.
There's a player who played it couldn't play Eldrazi anymore because he exclusively played mono black Eldrazi.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that on a local level, people are going to play the decks that they want to play.
Yes, they are.
And sometimes on a local level, they're really good decks.
Yeah.
If you're not ready for Mill last season when Frank Standing was all the hot rage, you're going to blow out.
Yeah. Because there's a guy from Modern perspective. You know, people invest all that money into those Modern decks. A lot of people don't even have the funds to be able to change. So you might see someone switch from Jund to Absent, but you know they're always going to be playing a mid-range deck.
Yeah, Michael Farrell plays Dream Black exclusively because he has the base, which is like Lilies and Joyce and Fetches. And then so they want to play red or they want to play white.
Right.
That change isn't that expensive.
Yeah.
You have people that just like to play the next deck to play. You alluded to people who just want to play Mill because they like playing Mill. Feel like Lawnmower is the best high-tide legacy player, period. Because that's what she wants to play, and she's really good at it. So why switch it up? If you want to play one deck and you're really good at it, then keep playing. You get to steal some free wins. People who aren't ready yet. We see people here playing Dredgevine because they want to play it. They like playing it.
Yeah.
We saw someone playing just Esper. It was Interteft who had a really good day 1 at SCG Columbus last winter, I believe it was. Just because he knows the deck and people aren't ready for it.
Right.
It just happened to become a good deck when Death Shadow started to come up. And you said, oh, I already have these paths. I already have these ways to deal with these cards.
Yeah, there's also something to be said about bringing a deck to the table and the competitive advantage that it brings. You always got to ask, what competitive advantage am I bringing with this deck? If I sit down with a deck and my opponent has no clue what I'm playing, I have a huge competitive advantage game 1. Because if I start playing these cards and they're like, I don't see these in the top of the meta, I have no idea what he's doing, they can't play around things because they don't know what's there. Now, there's going to be staples in the format. Like, if I'm playing white in Modern, I'm going to have Path to Exile. But they may not know just because I play an Island or a Watery Grave on turn 1 that, you know, I could be a Tezzeret deck. Not to say that that's a great deck, but...
Unless you play Kaminos, then you're playing Tezzeret.
Well, right.
Billy Kaminos, he plays his deck, period, no matter what it is. Here, or an open event. I feel like we alluded to about how you don't know what someone's playing. That's an advantage you can enjoy at a large-scale competitive event.
Yeah.
Catching people off guard. Death Shadow caught people off guard when it broke out in Vancouver.
Yeah.
At a local event, though...
That doesn't work.
That doesn't work, because you can't use knowledge to your advantage. The same people are playing
the same decks, yeah.
Like Coachella, only play Soul Sisters.
Yeah.
Obviously, in Modern, it's a lot harder to sideboard for stuff like that. You can tune it to a certain extent at a local level, but in Standard, especially now with such a small card pool, you can't just take Brad Nelson's list.
No,
that's for an open Grand Prix.
You can't do
Remember,
that.
He has 3 buys. He's avoiding all that round 1, round 2, round 3 jank.
Yeah.
Or at, say, week 1 of a new Standard, where you're going to have so much strength early on in those first rounds. It's a lot easier to tune at a local level. If you know someone that played Cats last season, that deck didn't lose anything. They're still going to play Cats.
Right, yeah.
People who play Ramp, they're not going to play Ulamog anymore.
But they're still going to
play Ramp.
Yeah. People like what they like. That's
why the wild card, because he can't play Eldrazi anymore.
Right, yeah.
If you're sure of what the style of deck he plays, just the attrition grindy game.
With discard.
With discard, with Gonti with his own little twist on it. It's no surprise he played a Sultai mid-range deck.
Yeah.
That can just wants to just grind you out with his own twist. And that alludes to, too, that people will still play meta decks, but they want to put their own unique spin on it, too.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's important to know that, again, especially when Frank Sandy took off. You can use certain caliber cards, like take out your Abrades or take out your natural states and put in Appetite for the unnatural. A card that seals the artifacts and enchantments, so you can seal those Gearhulks, those vehicles. It's going to cost a little bit more, but you open yourself up to more different opportunities to have a better advantage against people who are playing their own little brews. For a while, Mill was the most popular played deck here when Hour Devastation come out.
Really?
Yeah, and no one was playing God Pharaoh's Gift. No one was playing Catcher's Monument. These are top-tier decks on the competitive levels that were not represented here. There was another store a couple years ago where no one played Modelback Devotion.
Oh, wow.
No one played the best deck by far in the format there. They played, at the time, Junk, or they just played Mono Blue, or Blue-White Control, or Monsters. They didn't play Mono Black. I don't know if it's because they just want to play the quote-unquote top-tier deck. Yeah. Or just a weird coincidence, but
everyone wants to put their own twist on whatever deck they're playing. They want to have some input on it. No, people complain about net deckers and stuff like that, but no person wants to go online, just grab the deck and play it. You want to put your own. Oh well, okay. I mean, most people.
Yeah, the Spike wants to do that.
Yeah, the
Johnny
Spike
Timmy,
wants to do. Yeah,
which are more popular at your local game store. They want to do their own thing. We're not saying it's a bad thing.
No,
it's
not
just
a bad
something
thing
to always be aware about, whether you're spiking with the top decks at a Grand Prix or SCG, or whether you're brewing your own deck. You have to make a deck based on not what you expect to see, but what you actually know you're going to see.
Right. Like one thing I love doing in Modern, I have a couple decks, and I will sit down in front of the table, pull out my box, and all my decks have the same sleeves in them, and I rearrange what decks are in what cases. So when I sit down in front of someone, I have different archetypes that require different opening hands to deal with. The person sitting across from me knows that I play those decks, but they can't keep an opening hand based on the knowledge that I'm playing my certain deck.
I used to do different deck, different sleeve, and then I wanted to switch things out, and it was a complete disaster.
Yeah, that too. It's so easy to switch things between decks if you have the same sleeves.
Are you someone who just collects all cards and that if you're playing them or not?
I collect all rares, and then I have boxes. I sort my cards by if they're common, uncommon, and then I have a playable slot in each set.
You're gonna keep a bunch of ops or magma sprays or a bunch of cyborg cards that will see play.
Yeah, so I keep all my cards because I never know what's gonna happen, but it's also just nice to have a collection. Like if I have a friend that comes over that's never played Magic before, I don't want to pull out all these super powerful cards. I want to give, hey, here's some commons. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do it. You don't want to play with super high-powered cards when you're teaching someone the first time. That won't be fun for them.
No, they want to.
They want to play their 3/3.
Yeah, it reminds me how the sets used to be beginner with Portal, and then intermediate, advanced for the core sets, and expert for the expansions. And that alludes to if people are just getting back into the game, they might not have access to certain cards. They might not want to play certain cards because they just don't know what they do.
Right.
I mean, you bring someone back from 20 years ago, the red player here,
he
took a long hiatus, he came back, and it's a lot different game than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, if you show someone from 20 years ago what Spell Queller is.
Yeah, or, hey, remember that elephant, that 4/5 elephant that cost 8? No, here's a 4-mana 4/5 Rhino that Lightning Helix is 3.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're trying to say here is, as long-winded as it's been,
yeah.
If you're going to exclusively play local, don't build your deck with an open tournament in mind.
Yeah,
we're not Star City. We're not a Grand Prix. We're not the Pro Tour.
Observe what's around you. If no one's playing Death Shadow, don't have any sideboard cards on for Death Shadow. You're wasting a slot. After each night, well, not after each night necessarily, but when you want to, maybe once a month, look at your sideboard. Say, have I brought this card in? Have I brought this card in? And if the answer's no, and you've been playing those cards for a month, you probably want to take it out and replace it with something that's useful. Then you ask yourself, what are you losing to? It's I can never beat mid-range. It's well, maybe you want to bring in a grindy card, some card advantage or something like that. Or I can never beat aggro. Maybe you want to bring in some more removal spells on your sideboard or some life gain. So it really helps if you can actually think about what you're losing to and what you're not seeing.
stuff like that alludes to the fact that all these approach decks, they want to play for sideboard authority. I don't know what it is at everyone else's.
There's one red here. You don't need
not
it.
Just that, but they're kind of hard to find right now.
Yeah, that too.
And as you just said, there's one red player here. If you're not playing red, you're wasting 4 sideboard slots.
Like, sure, if you play versus that guy, you're going to need those. But what's the likelihood you're going to actually play him?
If no one's playing a graveyard deck here in Standard, then why are you playing graveyard cards?
Yeah.
It was a lot easier back then when people were still playing, well, they're not playing Godparents Gifts, they're playing Emerge. There's still use for it. But again, it's just like you said, if you're a regular LGS and you find yourself not using sideboard cards, then don't tune your deck to where you're actually playing.
Well, then when you do go to a GP, keep in mind, or an SCG event, keep in mind that you're going to see those cards. So you need to come up with, like, look at the meta, go to Goldfish or something like that, and see what are the top decks, what do I need to be sideboarding against? And, like, say, okay, this card helps me in multiple matchups, and I want to use this card because it's good in multiple matchups. Like, for example, in Modern, a really awesome sideboard card is Stony Silence. Now, that card is really good versus a bunch of decks. It doesn't completely hose Affinity. It does hose Affinity a lot.
It hoses Lantern.
But it also hoses Lantern. I bet you could go search through the thousands of millions of Magic cards and find a better card to beat Affinity than Stony Silence. I'm sure you could. But would that card also turn off Expedition Map for Tron? Would that card turn off Lantern Control? It's so versatile.
I brought in Stony Silence against Tron when I was playing Absinthe Company, the original Absinthe Company. Just totally, they couldn't do anything until they got rid of it.
Right.
So they just naturally drew it, which is still a thing, but still, it's a lot harder for them just to naturally draw it.
Right. So keep in mind, especially when you're sideboarding, that not that you're not using cards. If you're using all your cards and you're finding that you're still not having space for matchups that you need, try and say, is this card helping me in one matchup, or can I make this card a card that will help me in that matchup and other matchups?
Like Hurkyl's Recall.
Yeah.
If you're playing a store that has lots of affinity, you want Hurkyl's Recall.
Right.
If you're playing a store that doesn't have lots of affinity,
maybe you want Stony Silence.
You want Stony Silence,
yeah.
All right, we talked a lot about this topic.
Yes.
We rambled on.
I love this topic.
It's interesting because we were talking about the way approach. What do we want? Authority? Do we need it? Patrick never. I can never. Narsavage. I can never pronounce his name. I want to say Never Savage or Never Savage. Narsavage. Until last week with the approach deck, alluded to the popularity of a mono black aggro list or the red black aggro list. Authority doesn't matter against those decks. You know what does? Scourge Your Talons, which deals 2 damage to a target attacking creature. So there's stuff like that. I know it's so easy to look at Authority and say, oh, they can't attack with their hasters. I gain life, but...
What if the deck doesn't have hasters that you're playing versus?
What if the aggro deck doesn't have hasters? Or what if the aggro deck just does not care?
Yeah.
Because again, Jim Davis lost with 3 authorities in play.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
It was miserable.
Yeah.
So moving on, we're going to talk about World Championships and our predictions. Then they're happening right now as we speak. They're around 5, I believe. The deck list for Santa came out in round 4. Here we go. We have Teamer with a couple of 4 colors, like Team Oath Peace Garden, so Hewley and Reed are on traditional Teamer. Genesis, like Manfield and Nelson and Mueller, they're on 4 color. We have a lot of Revenant red.
Yeah.
And we have control decks, whether it's Shota playing Grixis because he's Shota, or Blue Black. And that is it.
There's no approach?
There's no white cards, period.
What? You're kidding.
No hostage taker, and there is barely an amount of Ixalan at this tournament.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I mean, it's the new set, so maybe people are saying, hey, I know these energy mechanics are so strong.
I think people say, I know Red's really good still because it got better after rotation.
Right.
I know Teamer's still really good because it plays energy in an unfair manner. And maybe they tested it out against Sultai and went, oh, that's right, you're playing these red cards that can just kill a hostage taker. If they're going to play Blossoming Defense, then whatever, we know how to play it because we're the best 24 players in the world.
Right, yeah.
So it could be that. It could be they went, you know what, these decks are good. Let's focus on draft.
Yeah. That's probably what they did.
I feel like the time was interesting because, you remember Jeskai Tokens?
No, I don't remember.
Jeskai Tokens was an amazing deck that came out of Worlds and went, hey, I want to play Jeskai Ascendancy. I'm going to play a bunch of token makers that happen to be non-creature spells. And I'm going to combo off every turn, essentially, because I'm going to play a non-creature spell. I mean, do you remember what Jeskai Ascendancy does?
Yeah, I remember what it does.
They're going to play non-creature spells.
Remind them.
So Jeskai Ascendancy is that Jeskai colored, so white, blue, red, enchantment from Khans. We're going to play a non-creature spell. your creatures get +1/+1 every turn. They untap, and you have the choice to loot, so discard and draw a card. There's a mechanic in that standard format called Convoke, where you can tap your creatures to cast certain spells, like a Stoke to Flames, which you convoke 4 red creatures to pay no mana, deal 4, trigger Ascendancy, loot, untap your creatures, they're bigger, and go again. Treasure Shrews was in that format. So you have to loot more, delve away those looted cards, draw 3. It was this insane deck that came out during Worlds, because Worlds took place in December around the end of the format. This World Tournament is coming out
at the very beginning.
7 days after Ixalan was leaked. So that could be a thing. We predicted, like, people are going to find the best Hostage Taker deck. People are going to fine-tune the graveyard decks. That's not happening. They're not playing those.
They don't care. They say that they don't want to take a risk.
Then it could be they're waiting for their Pro Tour.
That too. They could just be waiting for the Pro Tour,
which usually would take place next week, is taking place in
2 weeks?
3
weeks? Okay.
First weekend of November. So it's this interesting new schedule where all this stuff is happening, where it's all new. It's not what it usually is.
Yeah. It's very different.
It's very different, and it could be people just went, these decks are going to standard, let's focus on draft. It could be, we figured out that a Braid, a Lightning Strike, and Glorybringer are really good against Hostage Taker. Let's just keep playing this.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting how the format moves moving forward, because I don't think there's a standard tournament until after the Pro Tour.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not that I can think of.
Maybe a Grand Prix beforehand, but I don't really think there is.
So what's your prediction, now that you know the field? What do you think is going to win?
I mean, Red is still really good. That I feel like is the quote-unquote truest Ixalan deck, even though it literally took out a rotating card and took in
Lightning Strike.
Took in an old card. That's what the deck did.
Yeah.
It took out a card that was for Theros and Magic 15, I think it was. There's so many forms of Teamer.
There are.
Teamer playing Supreme Will. There's Teamer playing Gear Hulk. There's Teamer playing
playing Gear Hulk? Really?
I mean, I
hadn't seen that.
thought about it just because it was another threat against the control decks. To flash back some counter spells.
Yeah, that might not be that bad.
And that's an instant speed 5/6 that they have to answer. I expected 4 colors to do well. I thought Hostage Taker would see more play than it is because it's saying 0 play.
Yeah.
Maybe they just didn't care. Maybe just normal Teamer is good against it.
Maybe it's because the top players, some of them that are up there, you know, they just want to play the best deck. And that's red generally.
Remember, the Sultai deck that won Dallas had 4 Blossoming Defense.
Yeah.
The best players in the world
know how to play
those cards.
Yeah.
It's like the best players in the world know when to kill the infect creatures.
Yeah.
AKA, it's not during attack or before they can attack on their turn.
Yeah. So, along with that, like the players are really good.
Yes.
And so, what decks enable players to play the best? The mid-range decks, the Teamer decks. Teamer is the deck that allows people to play the best.
Teamer is the quote-unquote best fine-tuned deck because it's just a bunch of good cards.
Yeah.
Remember, Red's the best deck to put constant pressure in your opponents because it's aggressive and it can go a little bit larger post board and play Chandra and Glorybringer.
And I feel like these players have been playing Teamer most of this time, or Ramen Up Red, or whatever deck they're playing. Like Shota Yasuoka's on Grixis. He always on Grixis.
That's all he plays.
So I think that they're going into Worlds thinking that I know these decks and this is what I want to play. And Sultai is not a color combination that you often see in Standard.
I felt it telling that when Josh Layton said on his Blue-Black Control deck that runs 3/3 Gearhulk and Scaragod, he said he could wish he played no creatures at all. That shows you where the control players ultimately want to be, I feel like.
Yeah.
They don't want to play any creatures because at the end of the day, there are so many ways to deal with Hostage Taker when you think about it.
There are. There really are. I think the card's overpriced right now.
I think it's really good when the format ebbs and flows away from being all-in conscious and Hostage Taker. I think it's really good at a local level.
Yeah. But the most fascinating thing about this entire thing is the no white.
The no white is really interesting, yeah.
But
I mean, I know Jerry Thompson's talking about, I might get to play Blue-Black Reanimator. And essentially he's playing Blue-Black Control. Yeah, there's no white, there's no gift decks, there's no vehicles decks.
Yeah.
There's no approach decks.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, I know Jim Davis made a point talking about approach saying it's not a traditional control sense. It's a combo control deck. I think Saffron Allstead is the best Turbo Fog deck we've seen in a while since Maze's End.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
So it's going to be interesting to see how World shakes out. So, since all our predictions that we would have made are completely wrong,
yeah.
Let's about what we expect tonight for F&M. How do you think? Let's start with Standard. Do you think we'll see people play more decks in Standard now?
I think that we will see a little more versatility. I think that we'll see the people play what they like to play. Like we'll see the people who like playing Control play Approach or Grixis. We'll see the Cats guy play Cats. We'll see the people who like grinding matches playing Teamer or Sultai.
Cat player still Cat. Ramp player still Ramp.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much difference. I think we'll see more people come back with different decks, but they're still playing the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Ben Bastion or good old Ponza player Modern says he's excited to hopefully get the chance to play Vehicle soon, just because.
Yeah.
On the surface, it looks like it lost so much of Alexander coming out, but don't forget about that Marta Ballista vehicle version that did really well for a while.
Yeah.
To play that.
No, I personally don't think that Gideon was the biggest loss. I think Thraben Inspector. That was the biggest loss.
Yeah, that's where going back to the original version.
Yeah.
With the Marta Ballista version, playing Glory Bound Innocent maybe, playing
the 2-3
Veteran Motorist, playing Depala even.
Yeah.
Go like a more dwarf-oriented version or a more vehicle-oriented version with Gideon the Trousers. We'll see what happens at the local level. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
The Pro Tour should be pretty interesting too, because this world is not defining this meta. I hope it's not, because there's no Islam cards in it other than lands. Really.
I would be very sad to see no white cards in the entire meta.
That would be a little upsetting, because there's some decent white cards not in Approach in this.
Yeah.
I feel like
the Esper Godfrey's Gift deck.
Yeah. Wait, does that play any new cards in white?
I don't know. It plays the old one, the Angel.
So white's kind of bad in this format. We're going to talk about that next week probably.
Yeah.
Is white bad?
Yeah.
But for the local level, I'm interested to see how many people are going to play Standard.
I'm playing Standard.
Did you get the cards you needed?
No, but I'm playing.
That's an interesting thing, because there's no masterpieces in this set.
Yeah.
Which means there's no lottery tickets bringing them the value of this set.
Yeah, I am not. There's a lot of cards. I had Black Green Energy from the previous, so a lot of that moves over, but I want to transition it to be Sultai, but I don't want to pay $20 per Hostage Shaker. Fortunately, I had a Scarab God.
Tickets, and these lands have been printed several times before, so the lands which normally keep the price up aren't. There's a lottery ticket to keep the price up. The Mythics feel. I heard someone say the Mythics feel like they were originally made with masterpieces in the set.
Yeah.
So all these rares.
Yeah.
They go range from like a couple bucks to 5 to 10 to 20.
But then again, that kind of feels good. Back before Mythics, it feels good to have rares worth a lot.
Yeah, and the commons too. Op's $1 card.
Yeah.
Spell Pierce, it wasn't for all the reprints you got.
Well,
it's still a 25 to 50 cent common.
Yeah.
There's value in this set, which means there's excitement in this set over opening, which means people might not have the cards yet because it's still opening if the source is still selling them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Standard turns out. As for Modern,
it's going to stay the same. People might continue to try Op this week, but I watched the Channel Fireball video today, and they were playing that Jeskai list, and he was not playing any Ops. So
I know Patrick Aguilar, who plays Rick Shadow, was playing Opt.
Yeah.
It looked like they did him well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Michael Farrell was talking about playing Goblin Rabblemaster in Jund. He seems excited to play Jund again over Abzan.
Yeah, because it won that thing.
Not just that, but like the Death decks, they're nowhere near as prevalent anymore.
No, they're not, especially here.
It feels like people are preying on lack of Lightning Bolt in the format too. So it'd be interesting to see how things shake up in regards to that. I'm seeing a lot of interesting decks that prey on a deck like Eldrazi Tron or Natural Tron or.
Oh, I've gotten
Shadow.
So tired of playing versus Tron. I run 3 Ceremonious Rejection in my sideboard for. Now I'm like,
that's why
I don't want to
lose. Tron. A bunch of idiots and then a bunch of big idiots.
Well, Ceremonious Rejection is better versus that deck.
But I have Cavernous Souls.
That's true. That is very annoying. Cavernous Souls. We'll bounce it with Cryptic Command, and then you'll be in trouble.
I've seen a lot of Elves players recently too starting to come back into the fold.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of talk with the company decks and fitting the Vizier. I think that Vizier combo. I think that people have finally figured out that Elves is actually the best place for that.
I think the Abzan Vizier deck was just garbage.
I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot.
Compared to the OG company list, I thought it was complete garbage.
But the OG company list is just bad now too.
Why? It's still a bunch of really good cards.
I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, it can't hold up to like how big the threats are now. You can't just.
I can agree with that.
You can't cast company and just like I have all this value and then win the game because you've got like an 11/11 to shadow.
I think the biggest issue with that deck was Cletus became main boarded Jund, and that was like the biggest death knell for that deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I feel like the Jund players going to Abzan helps elves because there's no angers anymore. But now they're coming back.
Now they may go back.
From the angers.
It's the ebbs and flows. It's what we were talking about before with like the what's in your meta. It's like it's also can be like which deck do you play?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, honestly, as you said earlier, it's harder to switch decks in Modern.
Yeah.
Because they're so expensive.
Right.
Unless you want to switch to Storm because it's $200-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, Storm is cheap. And it does so well. It consistently does well at tournaments. It's really hard to play, though.
Yeah. There's the risk of going, well, it might be banned because it's Storm. But until it is, I don't think it's going to be banned because it's...
Right. Oh, let's get on this topic for just a second. Do you think any bannings are coming up?
There were 14 archetypes in the top 16 of the tournament. There should not be any unbannings in this format. I still think Jace, the Mind Sculptor, should be unbanned.
I think he should be banned on principle of price.
I can see it's going to get reprinted again on iconic matches, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that is...
No, but...
No, he's not reprinted in iconic matches.
It's 25.
It's 25.
There's 2 matches that's coming out. There's all these cards that get reprinted.
Sure. If he gets some reprints and he goes down, then maybe. But what blue commander deck doesn't run it? What legacy decks run it? I know that's not like a huge driver for the price.
Modern,
right, but if Modern plays it, then it's going to be
Commander's playing
so many.
One of it.
Yeah, and it's already $60.
And think about the only good argument I see for keeping Jace banned is the fact that Brainstorm is not legal in the format.
That too.
When you have a deck like... Remember, people don't play Disc in the Hero anymore because what happens if you tap it on turn 4?
You die!
Exactly. That's the argument for unbanning Jace, but the best one against it, I feel like, is it's the only card that says Brainstorm on it, and that's nowhere near fair.
Yeah.
If you're in this mid-range matchup where you're not going to die in turn 4, and you get the Brainstorm...
Yeah, because
every turn.
The SCG versus people, they did like a what if Jace was unbanned sort of like week, where they played a bunch of decks, and it ended up being like all the mid-range decks just splash blue now and throw Jason.
To play Brainstorm.
Yeah.
I don't think anything gets banned in Modern. I really hope it doesn't.
I want Temple to be gone.
Temple?
I hate Temple.
No, why? They flat out said when they banned Ivoken, they still want the deck to be a thing. The deck is still fair. It's not unbeatable.
Yeah.
We had ebbed and flowed. Ban on Drowsy used to be great, and then all of a sudden I blinked and it was garbage.
Yeah, it is.
And then Todd Stevens came up with Eldrazi-tron.
Yeah.
The fact that he's able to make so many decks do well.
Oh, he's impressive. He's really impressive. You make that green-white company deck work.
Pile of cards. That's really what it is.
I watched his interview. He said, I started with 4 Core Surf Crewfix and went from there. I'm like, okay, man.
Yeah, I feel like no card should be unbanned in Modern.
Yeah.
I don't think Bloodbraid should be unbanned just because Colon's command is really good. You cast it for free. My number one to unban would be Stoneforge Mystic, but then you got to ban Batterskull. Stoneforge Mystic is the reason why I built a Legacy deck. Like, so you already have these decks built with, just a shadow in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So they have Path in mind.
Uh-huh.
And you have Colon's command, which is a card.
Yeah.
Why do you think Batterskull should be unbanned if Stoneforge is... Rather, why do you think if Stoneforge gets unbanned, it should be banned?
Because it's the reason why it's banned. Well, if you don't think it's a problem, then why shouldn't we unban Stoneforge?
That was so long ago, though.
Okay, so then why shouldn't we unban Stoneforge?
A card that kills Batterskull and Stoneforge now.
Yeah, so why don't we unban Stoneforge Mystic?
Just try it. See what happens.
Please, I would love that. That would make me play Taxes all day.
Well, still, we got enough time. I get it. The Taxes won the Invitational.
Yeah.
But that played against a bunch of Death Shadow decks that aren't playing... They're playing 18 lands now.
Yeah.
How do you think it's going to do against a deck like Elves, which looks like it's starting to creep back, or a deck like John that just is A-OK drawing a lot of lands because, oh, look, here's the Raging Ravine. We don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, how would Death and Taxes fare in a format that's finally like, Elves or a format.
Oh, I'm not saying it would fare well. I'm just saying that I love Stoneforge Mystic, and I don't think there's a reason why we shouldn't unban it.
Maybe wait till after the Pro Tour so we don't have a repeat of why we don't have a modern Pro Tour until now.
Yeah.
But
that would make my day.
We could probably have an entire episode.
Yeah, we could have just unbannings and bannings and stuff like that.
We could talk about standard too. Just our spin and standard that probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, like Smuggler's Copter.
Yeah, Smuggler's Copter should not be banned.
Yeah.
Marvel should 1000% be banned. That card is...
Marvel and Cat, yes. But you should unban Cat, ban Saheeli. But they're not going to do that.
I think I'd...
You make a bold statement here.
I don't... It's hard because...
I know it wasn't...
I would love to play a card. I love to play these energy decks with Felon Guardian unbanned. I would love it so much. But then you're like, oh...
Then it's 5-color.
I get exerts in the format? Oh, I get to blank it and look. It's not exerted anymore. I get to untap with it. How about that?
Yeah.
I think that's a conscious thing. That has to be... As much as I love to blink stuff like that, blink, attack with Glory Bringer, and then blink it. Oh, look, I taste it again. Let's go, boys.
That does seem really strong.
Yeah, it seems insanely strong.
Yeah. But anyways...
Well, we've been talking...
For 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Want to keep these short shows, and maybe we shouldn't, because there's nothing else to do early on here, other than prepare our decks for tonight.
Or play Commander.
Play Seal Leagues. We're going to record some Seal Leagues for you, too, just so it's... You know, get a chance to see some Ixalan cards, just because there are no Ixalan cards at the World Championship, apparently.
None?
Lands.
Okay.
That being said, I'm Jake Valentine.
I'm Zach.
He's Zach Harris. We'll be back next week to talk about what happened at the World Championship. We'll be talking about what we expect from some Modern at the SCG.
Here in Cincinnati.
No, not... Yeah.
Oh, no, Atlanta.
I think it's in Charlotte.
Charlotte. And then here in Cincinnati.
And then here, it's Cincinnati coming up too. Before that, we'll have some gurus in the room for that FNM on the 20th. So look out for that. We'll be streaming that. But for Zach Harris, I'm Jake Valentine. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks.
Stay tuned because in about
45 minutes.
Not 40. We'll probably do some Modern tonight because
Modern.
Everyone loves Modern. There's no Modern at World, so let's.
Yeah. That'll draw some viewers.
So approximately 7 o'clock, we'll be streaming some Modern. Until then, we'll try to get a Seal League on for you here. Again, thanks for watching. We'll get this up on YouTube. Be sure to check out our YouTube page where we are on the ball now for uploading all those replays as fast as we can. That's youtube.com/TopDeckProductionStream, all spelled out. Don't forget to follow us here on Twitch or subscribe to us. And don't forget...
you get that one free subscription.
You get the one free subscription. That's right. And you're eligible for any giveaways we do here for subscribers. Facebook.com/TopDeckProductions. Follow us there. Like us. I guess technically like us there.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter at TopDeckProds and Instagram as well at TopDeckPro. So that'll do it for this week. You have anything final thoughts, Zach?
No, I'm really excited for tonight.
All right, we'll see you for FNM Modern. Stay tuned for that. Starting at 7, we'll try to get something else on camera for you.
All right.
In the meantime, enjoy those admittedly outdated replays.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't say his last name.
Then don't.
All right.
Then don't even try.
By Luke.